The redesign has allowed me to have no front of the classroom anymore, because I have technology all around and the students are strategically placed in the classroom. I can now move myself around the classroom to help the students based on their individual needs. The whole standards-based grading approach really transformed the traditional classroom that we had, in the aspect that before I had everything on wheels and flexible seating and stand-up desks and sit-down desks, I was still able to really rearrange my room, going from that teacher that was in straight rows to a teacher that now I'm going to sit my desks in groups more, and I'm not going to give the kids assigned seats where they stay in it for the entire month, but instead they take a pre-assessment, and based on their score on the pre-assessment, this is how you're going to sit today for today's class based on this group. And every day when my students came in, even prior to the seating, it was a new seat every day based on the needs of them and how they were doing in class. The work is put on the students, and again, myself, I'm just the facilitator, and the students are now relying on each other to get their work completed. When I first got the furniture, I did kind of like a trial week where I said, okay, you have to actually sit in a different type of seating style every day and kind of tell me what you like best. The kids definitely knew what they like best. I have a set of students that like standing, and I have a set of students that like the wheelie chair, and I have a set of students that like the wobbly chair. And it is interesting just to see, as they get older, they don't want to test it all out. They want what they know works for them, and you can see it does work for them. You know, the kids that are a little bit restless come in and they want that wheelie chair, and I see them wheeling back and forth within reason, but it definitely takes the attention off of them, you know, needing to move all around, and they can really focus on their work because they're wheeling around in their chair. And you know, the kids that stand up, you can definitely tell that those are the kids that kind of have to pace back and forth a little bit. And as a teacher, I'm okay with that because they are so much more focused on their actual work that they're doing in class, rather than, you know, doodling off to the side or trying to move in a desk, and they can't. And so it's been really helpful in that aspect. If someone from the outside came in, they might peek in my window and say, oh my gosh, there's no learning going on in there. But in reality, I almost feel like it's the opposite. So because there is so much movement, the kids, I feel like, don't have a chance to be bored and just stare off into space, because I'm asking them to move around, because they have the option to move around. When they are getting to the actual problems of doing the work, they are getting the work done.
It might be louder in the room than you're used to, but it doesn't mean that good things aren't happening, that learning isn't happening. I almost get a little more nervous if I walk by and don't hear any noise. I think especially as we're looking at 21st century skills and critical thinkers, students need to be able to talk to each other, engage with each other, and a quiet room doesn't necessarily mean that's the best behaved and best well-managed room.
I've had to kind of let go a little bit in the sense of that rigidness, like Shannon said, and allow students to find spaces in the classroom that really work for them versus what worked for me as the teacher. So I guess just walking by, it may look a little bit more chaotic than it really is, but it's prosperous. The kids are really producing good things, and I honestly believe it's because we're meeting their needs finally in the way of how they are learning nowadays and the movement that they need in order to learn.
Where does this technology really enhance my instruction versus where am I just supplementing technology? Because my last thing that I want to do is just supplement my technology. I really want it to enhance my instruction overall. And I think, to be honest, I'm in that point. I'm really doing a lot more, if you look at the SAMR model, of that augmentation. And my goal for myself in the next couple of years is really to start modifying.
The learning is more student selected and student driven now. Instead of me lecturing in front of the room for minute upon minute, hour upon hour, the students are doing more collaborative work. They're working in different parts of the classroom on different tasks that still hit instructional goals and learning targets. However, they're choosing based on their strengths exactly what they need to use in the way of technology, what they don't need to use in the way of technology, or where they best learn versus where I might have thought they would best learn.
Kids kind of create their own space, and they love having their own space. It really is a much more feeling of our classroom versus just my classroom. At the end of it, what I'm seeing every day is the ownership has increased tremendously. I don't pick where they sit. I don't pick how they decide if they're going to do their work on their iPad, or if they're going to do it on paper and pencil. It's whatever is best for your learning. And that is like my motto in my room this year. You need to do what's best for your learning. And that's kind of my goal in general. I want kids to love learning. And if they can leave fourth grade and say, you know what, I had a great year and I loved it, then in my opinion, I did my job. And